Hi, this is Belinda, Aussie Stitcher, coming to you on this 3rd of January 2026. It's been a minute. I did my whip parade in November and I was supposed to come back in December and it just didn't happen. That's all that really is to it. And I'll give a more detailed explanation at the end in a life update. But to round it up, we're still harvesting. This is the longest harvest we've ever done. It's the biggest harvest we've ever done. It's the most hectares we've ever put in. And my husband has done most of it by himself, by us helping him move paddocks. So it's big. But I'll give a more detailed explanation of what's been happening towards the end. So I am going to go through whips, purchases, plans, and potential starts. Could potentially be quite a long video for me. I am tossing up whether to come every 2 weeks, but I don't have a lot to share. So I'm thinking I will also show past finishes, which has been a while since you've seen them. We'll see. I kind of like the idea of coming back fortnightly memory wise on what's happening, but yeah, I'm not sure content wise whether I have it or not, or whether it will be like a 10-minute video and that's it. So we'll see how we go. Anyway, I'm going to show you my whips that I did for November and December. I've basically just written down numbers in my new diary. I don't do anything fancy for keeping tallies of everything. I just have a diary that I keep for everything. So this is my what's happening, what I'm stitching on, and the bills are paid for the farm diary. I keep, yeah. That way I don't have the potential of misplacing a book, which has happened, and losing information that I need. So, and this won't be in any particular order either. Let's get into it, shall we? The first one I'm going to show you is in this StitchNButton bag, which is the 3 Things sampler. By Maura Blackburn, and it says 3 things there are that will never come back: the arrow shot forth on its destined track, the appointed hour that could not wait, and the helpful word that was spoken too late. It's very beautiful. Only a couple of handful, I should say, of threads compared to some other whips. And I forgot my board again. Nothing new about that. So yeah, these are the thread colors. This is stitched on either a 32 or a 36 count, and it's just a cream. And I didn't stitch this in December. I barely stitched in December, but this got 1097 in November. So that whole "it's been a while and you're not set up properly." There we go. And I had finished the top page, and I'm starting down here. And the idea was I was going to finish this page in December, and that never happened. So, but all in all, I love it. This will keep coming out every month, hopefully, in theory, to get worked on. Okay, this was my 3 monthly piece that I also did not work on in December. And this is the Forest Screw in a Stitch and Button bag. And it's a Forest Screw by Rosewood Manor. And unlike the previous whip, this has a gazillion threads. So I have them on 5 of these. So lots and lots of beautiful threads. Lots of greens. And in November, I was about to say January, I did 567 stitches, and this is stitched on 36 count Tyco in Picture This Plus, and I'm doing 2 threads over 2. So, and that's where I'm up to. And I just worked over here. I did the tree, I think I did this, and maybe the deer, and up here. It is fiddly with the changes in colors. It is a lot of changes of colors. Okay. Just realized I thought I had brought everything over, but I hadn't. So I will at some point have to stop and grab some more stuff. In this Jan Stitching Necessities bag is Sleeping Beauty, which I know I worked on, but I didn't write down in my new diary by Joan Elliott the stitch count. But I think it was like 700 and something stitches. This is stitched on 32 count blush by Picture This Plus. And I stitched in there. I'm hoping for a finish this year with this. In theory, it should happen. But in theory, it should have happened last year as well. So hopefully, going for a finish this year. All right, I had a new start in November for Vicky, Stitch and Button's birthday, which I didn't technically start until December because life. So in this Stitch and Button bag is my new start. And it is an Ink Circles, which I'm not going to pronounce, but it's that one. And I am using this Silks For You, which I thought I wrote down the number. I did, PR039. And the fabric is a 36 count platinum, which I just got from 123 Stitch. And I did 204 stitches. And I have to say, like, I stitched 1 over 2, sorry, and I wasn't happy with how the color was. When you see this and you put it on here, it's vibrant, and that's what I was going for. But when I did it 1 over 2, it didn't have that. So then I pulled it out and I did 2 over 2, and it's looking better. Like, once there's more, it will look better, but it didn't quite have the pop that I was looking for on this fabric, considering it's a very neutral fabric. but I think it will be fine. Nearly did it in red. I found another red in my stash. The first one I put on there from Silks For You and didn't like as much. And then I nearly swapped it out to another red that I found, but I think I'm gonna stick with this. I think it will be fine once I stitch more. But yeah, it's still not 100%, but I think it will look better. And considering when I place this on top of the fabric, how well it looks, I think it's gonna look good. Right, and then in this Stitch and Button was I'm hoping for a page finish on Dragonfly Fairy, and it just didn't happen. I think I did another 200 stitches, maybe. It was very little. And this is stitched on 32 count even weave, and that's all I've got. So I'm not sure who the designer is, but it's a beautiful blue, and I just did down here. I did some more back stitching, I think, but I mainly did the grasses and a little bit over here, and that's it. And I still have so much more to do, but this is actually, sorry if it keeps going dark, light, dark, light. I have windows open, curtains open, and cloud cover. But, I mean, it's pretty accurate of the fabric. But yeah, it just, I hit burnt out, I suppose. I wasn't stitching much at all, and it just didn't get done. That's the reality of that. But it's coming out again. I still have, I think I did all the grass, but I still had like this little bit up here to do and back stitching. So it'll get done. It is what it is. My monthly work on in December was Royal Holiday, and I have her in this, which is an Emily C bag. She no longer does bags. Not very organized, am I? So Royal Holiday by Mirabilia. This is stitched on 32 count Belfast in Glacier. And I did just 568 stitches. And that was in here. It was fun, got to use some Chronic and fill in, but yeah, not as much as I was hoping, but considering I wasn't stitching, I'm just gonna pause. And we're back. While William had to come through and get a drink of water, and while he was doing that, I went up and got the things that I forgot. So I also worked on, in December and in November, Thistle, which is in this Stitch and Button bag. And it's a Glendon Place. This will do nicely. And my goal is to finish it in January. My daughter Sophie is coming back from Scotland towards the end of January, and I would like it done by then because I started this when she had left. So this is stitched on 28 count Folk by Picture This Plus, and I did 452 in November and 715 in December. Someone can do the maths. But this is where we're up to. So I've worked on this side over here. There's like 5 colours of dinky dyes. But yeah. So I have goals, and then I have like, I still want to touch everything, which probably won't happen, but we're hopefully going to get this done. Right, I'm going to show you Outback Storm. Now, Outback Storm for the months of November and December, I did 2,773 stitches. As I said, I just did not really stitch at all in December. And this is where we're up to. You would have seen previews and that. I had to move, so I'll see if I've got a photo, but I've moved from doing the tree and up into filling it in the sky. So yeah, I think really exciting there. Now I'll get on to what I stitched in January. I had plans on doing a new start, but I thought to begin with I wanted to start reaching goals, and one of my goals is to start working on Spangle. So I get it out, and I don't think you can see it, but it's all crusty and it's like it's got mold, and it won't be covered by stitching. And if it is mold, I don't want it, and it actually has spread downwards into the fabric. I had a chat to my friend Vicky from StitchNButton, and she suggested washing it in vinegar. I googled, because this is like side linen, I think, and it is colour fast, but as I said, as I looked at it, I could see, because I was going to try and keep the fabric, I can see it further in the fabric, so we're not going to keep this. So Belinda did a restart. I will put in a picture here of what Spangle is going to look like, and I have restarted this on a 36 count. Let's picture this plus bramble, and I'm doing 2/2 because I liked it on that, and that was 36 count. So this is my restart. I've done at least 400 stitches, and I'm still gonna bring this out every month and work on it till I'm finished, because this is an old whip. I started this, I think, in like 2018, 2019, could have even been earlier. So even though it's not a 10-year-old whip now, or nearly 10-year-old whip, it is something that I've been stitching on, but I haven't stitched on it in a while, so it wasn't a pain to go, oh, I've got to restart and do it all over again. I hadn't stitched on it in years, so it was like, huh. And I still had the pattern. I print out my charts. I know you can go in Pattern Keeper. I like having the paper. It's easier to take with me if I stitch elsewhere. And so I could just reprint out what I've already coloured in, because I highlight. So yeah. Not quite the start to the year that I wanted, but it's not horrible either. So there we go. So I am going to go into plans. So my plans are to work on Spangle, Outback Storm. I want to try and get 3,000 stitches every month in Outback Storm. On that note, I did not work on my monthly piece, which was supposed to be Golden Flinch Blossoms and Blossoms. I have discovered I can only really focus on one full coverage at a time at this present time. That could change in 6 months' time. It could change tomorrow. At the present time, when I tried to sit down and stitch on it, I just wanted to work on Outback Storm because I want that finished. So I won't be working on any other full coverage at this time, which could change at any given time. We'll see how we go. Sleeping Beauty, Winter Queen, Thistle, and Three Things. I want to work on them every month. I really, really want three things. That's not going to happen. Thistle done. So, and I also have my 3 monthly and monthly whips, which we're going to pull here. So we'll pull the 3 monthly first. And it is, as I rip the end, Scary Sampler. And my monthly one for January is Tiny Dancer. So I have big baskets. Scary Sampler and pretty sure your Tiny Dancer. So that is actually really exciting. So in this StitchNButton bag is Scary Sampler. So I think it actually came out for January last year too. I could be wrong. By the Heartstring Samplery. And this has book references, movies, and TV references all through it. The Star Wars reference there. So I'm stitching this in the cord for hand eyes, which in all honesty, I should have just pulled a DMC for that one. And this is stitched on 36 count Salt Rock in Colour and Cotton. So that is my starting point. I'm into the second page. And Tiny Dancer I have not worked on at all since I started it. This is in a bag that I'm pretty sure was gifted to me by some lovely ladies in Perth. Do I have my little card in here? I can't see it. So yeah, I think I started this in 2020 with reading stitches at the very least. Maybe Felicity. Or we might have just done Butterfly. Anyway. So this is stitched on, I'm pretty sure it is a colour Cascade fabric. And that is from when I started it. So I have not touched it since, so we'll still see if we still love it. Still love the fabric, which I think I do. The only issue would be the arms that are pink, but I think there's back stitch around it and it will look fine. So yeah, that is my plans. We'll see how we go. I'm going to show you some of my new starts that I am looking at doing throughout the year. I know I keep saying I want a week down, but my main want of whipping down is the fancy ladies. I love my fancy ladies, they are wonderful, but I have something like 20 Mirabilias plus on the go, plus Joan Elliott. That's a lot. I want more variety. So if I'm going to have new starts, I want the starts to be not fancy ladies. And when I start finishing some, I will start a fancy lady, but the idea is like I'll finish 5 fancy ladies and start 1. Probably not that many, but you know what I mean? Like the idea is to whip down. So one of my new starts, when I finish Thistle, I want to start this. Bothy Threads, the Highland. I have a friend that's just brought her and moved away into her little farm and hobby farm, like, you know, not very big, and she loves Highland cows, so I want to do this for her. So this will become my 300-ish stitches a month until it's done. I know I said I was going to do inspirations, but I want to get this done. So I'll be using the Ada, which is printed, and the threads there. I've had this for years. It's time to get started. So yeah. Some other ones that I want to start. This was supposed to be my New Year, New Start. So in this Emily C's bag, wrong bag, in this Emily C bag is a Quaker Antique Sampler reproduction from the Cross Stitch Antiques. And I want to do this. The reason I got this was because I have been in, that's another thing I forgot. I've been doing the 12 Days of Christmas Silks for You for the last 2 years, and I did it again this year. And you end up with a lot of little skeins of silks. And I thought this would be a perfect way to use them. So I went through it and matched roughly, sometimes not exactly, to the DMC. So I have I feel like I should have more. So I've got these that I've matched. Oh, and this red. And then there was another red and I couldn't match it, so I grabbed this hank, which I won't need a lot of. And then this was also in one of the, this was in last year's 12 Days of Christmas. So I'm gonna use that color as well. But I didn't have any good browns. There was quite a lot of browns. So I went through my water lilies and I found some browns and some other colors that I might need. And I'm tossing up whether I use Fibre on a Whim, Milk and Honey fabric, or Fibre on a Whim Moonstone. I hadn't decided yet. They're just in my bag. And that's what I was going to start. I might start that. I don't know. It might just be a random, I want to start it because it feels right. But that is, I do want to start. So if I'm going to have a birthday start in February, this will be it, or I feel like a start, this will be it. I have in this Stitch and Button bag, a couple of years ago I brought quite a lot of, well not quite a lot, but 4 kits of the Our Forest embroidery, and I've never started them. So they came in boxes, beautiful boxes. Can't put boxes in my bag, so take that as you will. I just ripped the cover off. So I would like to start this one, which is I'm not sure what it's called, but it's that. So it came with a kit, so I've got the fabric already and the threads. There's a lot more threads in here, but so that is a potential start some point this year. In this Stitch and Button bag is 2 widths, 2 potential starts. The first one is Seeking Refuge, because I had finished the first one in the series, so potentially this one, all kicked up with fabric and threads, and A Shepherd's Song by Plum Street Sampler. I've also got fully kitted with fabric, so needs to be in their own bags though. Potential start. At this stage, to be honest, I would choose starting Seeking Refuge, but we'll see what the mood takes. If I want to start something and I might pick the other one. In this Stitch and Button bag is another Long Dog sampler. And it is You Belong to Me. I just have to make sure my fabric is big enough, but I have chosen Fox and Rabbit 36 count Mayflower with Silks for You thread. Not sure which ones they are. Sorry. I had kids go through the Silks for You bundles and take them out of the bags, so I don't know what some of them are. So, and the last one that is a maybe start, that's probably higher on the list as well, is the Blue Flower, the Moonlight sampler. Love this. So many people are working on it. I have fabric and the floss. Just beautiful, like autumny colors. And I've got 36 count Oyster Shell by Fox and Rabbit, which is a nice purpley grey color. And that's in this MLC bag. So that is potentially new starts. We'll see how we go. What's the chances of my coffee still being hot? Not stone cold. All right, before I show you my purchases, I want to show you some previous finishes that I had done. And I show you these usually in December every year, but I didn't do one in December, so now you're getting it in January. I did the gold dimension stockings for my kids, and I love them. I will never stitch another stocking again, My kids are tough out of luck if they want me to stitch one for their grandkids. They want one for their kids, they can learn to cross stitch. So the first one was for Sophie, and I did it on the called for fabric, and I got my mum to make it into a stocking. I don't know where, but at some point I got very overdoing the back stitch and I just stopped. Next one is Iona, and I got wise and went to Ada, but bigger count. And again, my mum made it, and again at some point I got over the back stitch and I just stopped. Michaela, I was also smart and went with my own Ada high count, because dimensions have, you know, 2, 3, 4 threads. And again, at some point I got over the back stitch and I just stopped. And then we got to William, and Belinda forgot to up the fabric and use the kit fabric. And again, at some point in this, I stopped doing backstitch. I did all the main bits, but yeah, there is a point where I'm like, I'm done. So yeah. They look wonderful. They were a chore towards the end. The detail is amazing. They are amazing. They get used every year. It's durable. I haven't had to like wash them or anything. I washed them when they were done, because there is a lot of white, and none of this bled, but I did it in pretty cold water as well. But you know, they get used every year. Been amazing. We'll never stitch another one again. That's really what it comes down to. All right, what have I brought? From the Cool Goblin, I got my last sewing club kit for the year. And I've enjoyed these. The one I got last time I wasn't in love with, but I could still see myself doing. This one was a little bit the same, but I still like it. Now we had the option of going blue if we wanted to, and that's what I did. So that's just an alphabet, but I went with the blue thread, and the fabric is 36 count Mayflower. So that looks really fun. And there's that one as well. That could be it. And then some finishing stuff if you so wish. So we got that. And I think I will do it next year. I really enjoyed getting different things. So I also got from A Stitch in Time, I got well, it's not the new Mirabilia anymore, but it kind of goes with some of the older ones. So I decided to grab it. I do like it. Comes with water lilies. That one looks fun. And some beads. Not as beady as what some others are. I also got from Flosstubers. They have like a mystery chart and fabric, which doesn't stay a mystery. They do release it, and there's usually spots where you can still buy the chart and fabric, or the mystery fabric that comes. So you get a Joan Elliott, plus you get a Flosstubers, but I've put that somewhere in a safe spot. So I got that. And the fabric was, I chose a 36 even weave, what's the name? Olympus. And that looks really fun. I actually like that. And then just before Christmas, I did a bigger order from A Stitch in Time, because this is like my Christmas present to myself. So let me just... What started it was I was watching StitchNButton's video, and she had started, yeah, a Mill Hill Aussie Santa. Michaela works in the same place I work after school, and so on Mondays I finish work at 3:30. She starts at 3:30, and because I live on a farm, I sit in town with her until 5:30 till she finishes. The last couple of months I've just been bringing out Backstorm, and if I have time to stitch or I'm not doing anything else, sometimes I do other things, I stitch on out Backstorm. But I thought, oh, you know, it'd be really good to take a Mill Hill kit with me and do some more of these to put on my tree. Not that I don't have Mill Hills already brought, but I really like that Aussie Santa. So I went looking to see what else they had, what had come out since the last time I brought Mill Hills. So we got the Santa with the koalas, the Santa with the kangaroo, my husband, as is all farmers, are volunteer firefighters if there's a fire on someone's property, which has been lots this year, not ours. Then they take their fire units that they have, which is fire tanks on back of utes, to go and put out fires. In our area, we actually have a fire truck, and my husband is the fire captain, so he goes and grabs that. So there's, you know, a big capacity of water. So I got this, which doesn't represent, we have nothing to do with rescuing dogs or fire hydrants, but close enough. This one, that looks very Scottish / British. Highland cow, because my husband is from Scotland. Daughter just spent a year over there. She's coming back this month. And then these two, because my mother-in-law in Scotland has hives. But while I was there, I was looking, and I came across this. And this kind of reminds me of the Scottish sampler that I have, that I've had for like 10 years and haven't started. And I brought it because it was the Scottish sampler, and I still want to stitch it. It's still beautiful, and I still really want to stitch it. Notice it wasn't not in the starts list. Besides the point. This is, where is it? A Scottish sampler from Aberdeen. My husband is from the Aberdeen Shire. He did not grow up in the city. He grew up on a farm in the Shire of Aberdeen in Scotland. So I kind of went, oh my God, I just have to. Not loving, I have to say, the, is it Igeria? Eyelets? Yeah. For this alphabet in here. And then I decided, because I've never ever used them, and it wasn't too bad, and like Christmas gift to me, I got the thread pack in the silks. I just put it up there, maybe you guys can read it. So that's pretty cool. But then wait, there's more. There was fabric that I liked the look of. So I got Tabby Cat linen 36 count. That is actually, I think for another sampler, but I'm not going to use it for that. It is slightly modeled, which is really, really cool. And then this is Fox and Rabbit Inca Light, which is also slightly modeled. Oh, and that sampler came with this as well. And I think that's it. I think that's enough. So yeah, that was my little Christmas present to me. After it being, yeah, December was insanely busy. Right. So let's give a bit of a life update. Sophie is coming home on the 24th of January. So bloody excited. Can't wait. She was traveling with a friend. Her friend still wants to travel. Sophie hit a wall. She'd been there since February. Her friend had been there since the end of August. And I think friend still wants to travel. Sophie didn't. So Sophie decided to come home, but wanted to spend Christmas and New Year's in Scotland, like do a complete year. By the time she gets back, she would be 2 days off from being a whole year in Scotland. So close enough. So that's very exciting. We're still harvesting. This is like the never-ending harvest. We have never harvested this long, I think, since we moved up here, even when we worked for someone else. So, but my husband does all of it by taking the grain to CBH, which is the place that you deliver your grain to, all by himself. He fills up the header, he puts it into a chaser bin. When the chaser bin is full, he stops the header, starts up the chaser bin, takes the chaser bin to the fill bins, fill up the fill bins, go back to the header, start the process again. So it's been long and exhausting. So exhausting. On top of that, we've had harvest bans, which means that it's too dangerous to be in a paddock in case there's a fire, because usually wind and high heat, and if there's a fire, it has the potential of going out of control really quick. And on top of that, we've had a bloody lot of fires. In the whole of WA, there's been a lot of fires. A lot of towns had to be, well, not a lot, enough towns, more than it should be, towns had to have been evacuated for fires. It's been a lot. So it has been interesting. So that leads us into December was definitely out there. So we live on a farm, and in our farm we have names. So if you're in our farming area, you have different names. Like I don't want to say them because that would yeah, it just, and the idea was that could have been made into a town site, but you have a CBH delivery centre, or used to have a delivery centre where we live. We don't have a CBH anymore, but the little area up next to us still does. But we have a Christmas gathering every year. So if you are a farm in this area, or you own a farm in the area, you go to the Christmas tree. That was great. So we get there organising. Because everyone's still harvesting, there was less people than we normally have, which means we had a lot of food left over. The way we do it is that our progressive group, there is such and such progressive group, pays for the meat, and then you bring a salad and dessert to share. We sit down, it's ham, chicken, turkey with salad and bonbons. You know, it's a proper Christmas meal. Just hold that thought. So we're getting organized. Santa comes on the fire truck. My husband drives the fire truck for Santa, and we get messages on people that live closer to our town saying a massive storm has hit and they'll be late and they might miss Santa. We're like, Santa won't come until all the kids are there. You're fine. So town got hit with a massive storm, hail, like 20 plus mils of rain in a very short period of time, damaging winds. There was damaging. Like people's trampolines got picked up and thrown into neighbors. It was a lot. We are 20 minutes drive from there and we didn't get anything. So we're having a good night. Iona wasn't there because she wasn't well, and she knew that there will be elderly people there and newborns, and she didn't want to pass on what she had. It wasn't serious, but she, you know, to a baby it could be serious. So I was going to head home about 9, check in on Iona. We don't live too far away from where the Christmas tree is held. It's in a old town hall. So I leave William and Michaela with Jeff. I'm going to put a photo in here. A couple of the ladies made baubles to put on the Christmas tree with everyone that's been a part of our Christmas tree names. So past and present had their names put on, and to put on the Christmas tree. It looked amazing, so I'll put that in. So I'm going home. We're having a massive lightning storm. The sky is lightening up. Lightning is everywhere. I get home, check on Iona, get a phone call from Jeff. There's a fire. I have to go and get the fire truck. You need to come back and pick up the kids. I can't find them. They're playing hide and seek. I don't have time to deal with this. So we pass each other. I go find the kids. Michaela was around. We just had to spend some time. Like all the male farmers have just gone whoosh to go and fight this fire. As we're driving home, we can see like more lightning, to a point where a lightning has hit somewhere and you can see the orange gloom. Like, it was definitely out there. Quickest way to end a Christmas tree ever. So I think Jeff came home about 2 or 3 hours later. The people who owned the farm had to stay there. Well, not stay, you know, have to, but they stayed there once the fire was out to make sure that it didn't get reignited with the winds and that. So fast on a week and a half, 2 weeks, last day of school. How awesome. Kids are so excited. And the night before, so school finishes on the Thursday, on the Wednesday night, our rubbish tip in our town site goes up in flames. I'm not sure if it was lightning or whatever, but it's on fire. So there are warnings the next day about toxic smoke, because it was like, it caught alight at around 11 p.m. and at like to 4 p.m. the next day, there was people there making sure that it was under control. So school got cancelled because of the toxic smoke. Not that I was at work and we got told that if it got too bad to shut the shop. It didn't. The volunteer fires in Morawa were amazing. So, but school got closed. So my kids are dressed at the end of the driveway. Michaela rings me and goes, school cancelled. I'm like, okay, just come back. You're not coming into town. Then she rings me and goes, oh, hang on, there's a bit of miscommunication. School's not cancelled. We're going back to do the, right. I'm like, okay, no worries. In between this, I'm texting my husband going, school's cancelled, school's not cancelled. Then I get a text message from the school. This has all happened within 10 minutes, going, school is definitely cancelled. So that was the last day of school. Very disappointing. It was disappointing for the teachers. They had big plans for the kids, you know, bringing home schoolwork, class parties, all the fun stuff, cancelled. And then we go on to Christmas Day. By this point, Jeff is exhausted. He worked until like 10 p.m. the night before. Kids are up at like 6 a.m. wanting to see what Santa brought them. Side note, Santa brought them a Ninja slushie maker and ice cream maker. 2 separate machines. They're loving it. It's been the best thing I've ever brought. Santa's ever brought. So we tend to have a late lunch, early dinner. So we usually start about 2:30 eating, just so that the morning is a bit more chilled. And we have a truck driver that usually comes for Christmas because his family's a bit further away if he's busy. You know, we're still harvesting, so everyone's busy. And he brought one of his workers. So we just sit down, we're just eating dessert. There is another lightning storm happening, and Jeff gets the message that there is fires and he needs to go. So he goes. The truckie and his co-worker immediately volunteered to help Jeff on the fire truck. So they go. I don't see Jeff again until I didn't actually see him again until the next day. He didn't get home until like 11 p.m. So they left about 3:30 p.m. They didn't get home until 11. There ended up being 2 fires, about 20 k's apart. One was near a house, very, very near a house, and luckily the house wasn't hurt at all. And the other one, I think, was in crop that had been harvested / bush. And yeah, it was windy, it was dangerous, and that was our Christmas. A lot worse for the people who obviously it was near the house and on their property. But it just felt like, though, the way December had been, like with the Christmas tree and school, yes, Christmas Day was going to be like this as well. On Boxing Day is, so in Australia, Boxing Day, Christmas Day and New Year's Day is automatically a movement banned so that people can enjoy Christmas and New Year's. It can be pouring down with rain and there's an automatically movement banned. And that means that you cannot be in the bush or a paddock or do anything that might start a fire. And that is including driving in a paddock, because if you hit something and it sparks and it catches a fire, that's a big deal. So yeah, that was us. Yeah. And on top of that, work was super busy, crazy busy. I was coming home exhausted. It was so flat out that I was coming home exhausted. I work at a local IGA, and between people buying for Christmas and harvest and just generally food shopping, it's a small shop, you do everything, but I do the fruit and veg ordering, and my orders had doubled, like easily doubled, probably even more than doubled. So it was busy. January is our quietest month. A lot of people go away. It is really, really hot in our town. So if you can get the time off, you leave. So January is more of a chilled. Yeah, that was, a lot of that was why I didn't stitch in December. Tiredness, busy, and yeah. And then on New Year's Eve, I hurt my back. I've still, not major, and it wasn't even anything like, oh my God, you shouldn't have lifted that. I was just moving something, a stool, but I twisted wrong. And I was like, oh, that twinges. And then kept going, kept doing, probably shouldn't have kept going what I was doing, but I kept doing, I was cleaning, doing all the cleaning that you got to do where you cut fruit and veg stuff. And then finished work, sat in the car and went, oh my God, that really, really, really hurts. But between deep heat and Panadol and Nurofen, it is a lot better. That's why I'm leaning a little bit back, because sitting up, yeah, It still hurts, but not nearly as bad as it did. I was very, very grumpy New Year's Eve. I didn't even stay up. I normally stay up, but I was like grumpy, in pain, bed. Removed myself from the situation and woke up the next day feeling slightly better. So yeah, that's it. That's whips, life update, whips, purchases, plans, and maybe starts. And we're at an hour. And pauses for kids because it is school holidays and they are around. And I've got about half an hour before I have to drive into town to pick up Michaela. So, because she's working this morning. So yeah, I just want to say a big thank you for everyone who has watched me over the last 12 months. The highs, the lows, the maybe recordings. I'm not always in the right headspace or done enough. Not in the right headspace. Definitely not done enough sometimes, and sometimes not in the right headspace. Too tired to do this. But you still watch, you still comment, you still like, and people are still subscribing. So that is pretty darn amazing. Flosstube has, in the 8+9 years that I've been doing this, has exploded. And it's just amazing the people that still find time to watch me. So thank you. And I hope this year is better than last year. I hope it brings you joy, happiness, stitching time, family time, whatever it is that makes it special. I hope it happens for you. And maybe see you in 2 weeks. Chances are probably not. The reality, this will probably continue being a monthly thing. But we might surprise each other. And I'll see you next time. Happy stitching.